Hey folks, welcome back to our Dice Tower preview. I'm Mark, and today we're taking a look at The Quick and the Undead. The Quick and the Undead is brought to you by Inside Up Games. It's for 2 to 6 players, ages 8 and up, and games range anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes. Welcome to the Old West and the sleepy little town of Westfort. Westfort was recently overrun though, overrun by the Undead. Now it's up to you and your band of outlaws to ride into town and eliminate this zombie menace. However, you have to deal with the other outlaws at the table, all vying for control of this little sleepy town. You're going to be buying up resources. You're going to be entering into duels. You're going to be acquiring buildings, all in an effort to gain the most notoriety and be the ultimate outlaw heroes. So here's a quick look at setup. Now, based on the player count, we'll determine how many buildings and how many zombies are in play for that particular game. Once you determine that, you will deal out the appropriate number of cards to the slots on the board and then populate buildings with zombies, as well as putting a zombie in the middle, which is the middle of the street basically. And the rest of the zombie that you've gathered will be placed face down into Boot Hill. Each player will gather their set of colored meeples and their matching undead target card. Now, you have 6 meeples here, 4 of which you'll get right away. The other 2 will go into a reserve where you can hire additional outlaws throughout the game. Each player also receives an 8-sided dice. This dice will be used for numerous things. One of the things is choosing what actions you're going to perform on your turn. And it will also be used when you duel it out with your fellow outlaws or when you fight against zombies. Each player will also receive 3 resources. And you can mix and match these resources however you wish, but the 3 you choose from are bullets, you have gold, and you have notoriety. Now the thing with bullets is that once you have a bullet in hand, you can place it on your undead zombie targeting board. And there are numbers here you'll see, and you can place it in any of those that you so choose. Basically, this is where you're going to try to target and hit a zombie when you roll the dice. Now, you also have critical success and critical failure. Rolling an 8 is a success and a 1 is a failure. You also have an ammo or a bullet at the bottom of your board showing when you use that. These bullets are also dual-sided, so you have a way to track when you've succeeded with a critical success or a critical failure. Another spot worth mentioning here on the board is the fact that you have the cemetery or Boot Hill. When you enter into duels, and you will be doing so, you may lose your outlaws or your meeples and they'll be placed into the cemetery. Then before you begin, each of the buildings that are in play will receive a random resource token. Now, I think there might be plans in the future that the board will have resources dictated potentially, but in this prototype, we're using random resources to start off each of the buildings. So the game is played over a series of days, and each day is divided into 3 rounds. These rounds are action rounds where you'll be performing different particular abilities and gaining their resources or income off those action spots. Now, there will be a first player known as the Law, and everyone secretly will be taking their 8-sided dice and choosing a number without revealing it. Now, before you reveal it, the Law will ask, does anybody want to hire a new outlaw? Basically gaining another worker or meeple to your stash. Now, if you so choose to do that, you will forfeit your dice for that round and put it on the spot, and you'll have to pay the fee associated with it. All players then reveal their action dice and their chosen number. They'll be placing meeples into those action spots throughout the town. Now again, these spots have abilities and they have income you can earn from that spot. But throughout the round, you cannot use a spot more than once. And if you land on it at the same time, the same chosen number as one of your fellow outlaws, then duels will occur. So yes, if 2 or more players choose the same action spot, then these duels occur. Now, the first thing you'll do is announce your target. And then you're going to be rolling your 8-sided dice against your targeting board. What you're looking for here is a number rolled that matches a slot that has a bullet in it. And that's really that simple. Now, your opponent is doing the same thing though, and you're going to compare your values. Whoever is the highest value is basically going to win that duel, sending the other to the graveyard. Also, they will collect a notoriety token for doing so. Now, it's also important to note that when you do win a duel and you send someone to the graveyard, then you will be pulling a new zombie card to put in the building or in the street, wherever you choose to put it. But it does spawn another zombie. So let's take a look at these action spots now. So either you won the right in a duel to take advantage of this action spot, or you just landed there with unopposed and you're ready to use its ability. Now, you're going to use these slots in descending order. But the thing here is that there's 3 different types of abilities really. You're going to be stealing resources from other outlaws, or you're going to be hunting the undead, which means you can basically go after any undead or zombie in buildings or in the street or whatever. Or you're going to fight the undead, which is the hand up icon. And when you do that, it's really strictly for the undead or zombie that's in the middle of the street. So the thing with the undead though is that it's going to work much like Duels, except you're looking at the undead card. At the bottom of the card, it shows what it takes to hit and kill that zombie. Now, you're going to go back to your targeting board and you're going to roll your 8-sided dice, hoping to hit that slot with a bullet that you've already selected in your targeting board. And if you do, then you'll collect that zombie card and you will place it in your player area and score it at the end of the game. Now, the other type of ability that you may activate, and it's important to note that all these action spots may have an either or option as you take advantage of their abilities and even the income. But there's one other, there's the Intimidate factor. It gives you a series of numbers, and if any other players or outlaws are in any of those numbered action spots, you can intimidate them, forcing them to give you 2 resources of their choice, or they can choose just to walk away. And if they do walk away, then you get to take a pot shot at them. Basically, again, rolling against your targeting markers or your targeting board, rolling your 8-sided dice to see if you can get a shot off at them and eliminate that meeple and move it over to the graveyard. So after you've activated the ability of the action spot, then you'll collect the income at the bottom that it calls for. And again, this could be an either or type of thing, or it might give you resources of each type, which this number 4 slot does, which is probably going to be a hotly contested spot throughout the game. Then after completing that action and income, you'll lay the meeple down. Now, it's also important to note that if there are no zombies in the street, once per round, you can choose to move your meeple to a building and potentially purchase it, or fight for the right to purchase it if someone else has already done so. So how does that work and what does it mean? Well, you'll move your meeple from the action spot to the building, paying its cost in the top left corner. Then you'll own that building, and other players still have the ability to come in and try to poach it from you, so to say. But all the buildings through every round are going to require some upkeep. You'll have to pay a bullet for every building that you own, so it does get expensive. But these buildings are very valuable because they do varied things. They have a lot of different abilities per round. Some have constant things they do, like this one here protects you from having your gold stolen throughout the game. Some might give you notoriety per round. Some might give you notoriety per kill of zombie. So there's a lot of different building actions and abilities, and they are very much worth owning in order to elevate you to victory at the end of the game. Now, if a player comes along and tries to steal the building from you, well, they will pay half the cost rounded up. And then you'll have a duel to see who takes control of that building. And it's important to note that the notoriety listed on the building won't come into play until the end of the game when you do the final scoring. A couple things worth noting. Don't forget, through the duels and fighting the zombies, that you have a critical success potential, giving you an instant kill. And also, as you travel through the rounds, whoever has the first player token, the law, this will be changing hands throughout the round. And so the game goes on like this, round after round, until all the zombies have been eliminated. And once they have, at the end of that round, then you enter into high noon, which basically just gives the players one last round in order to get the maximum amount of points. And then you're going to score and see who has the most notoriety. Now there's multiple ways. Again, you get notoriety tokens for doing various things. You're going to have notoriety from the zombie cards that you've collected, and for each of the buildings you own will have notoriety as well. Now if there's a tie, the player with the most gold is going to decide that, win. But if there's still a tie, then you're going to duel it out to the death. All right, folks, just a reminder once again, this has been a Dice Tower paid preview, and everything you've seen here has been in prototype form. So keep a close eye on the campaign for any changes that still may occur. Now that said, this game has a lot of high action to it and a lot of back and forth because I'm stealing resources, you're stealing from me, then I'm stealing back from you. That was pretty interesting. And of course the duels, oh, so much fun. And it's hard not to slip into that Western accent as you're playing this game. And obviously clearing the town of zombies. Definitely high on your priority list, it should be. But ultimately, folks, if this looks like a game that would be of interest to you, I'm sure they'd appreciate your support. So I think that's it from me, and until next time, we'll see you at the table.
Thanks so much for watching another Dice Tower video. If you enjoy our videos, subscribe to the channel for more fun, comprehensive board game coverage. Also, consider joining us at one of our events. Come to Dice Tower Retreat, a small, intimate gathering where gaming is king. Join us for Dice Tower Cruise, the largest board game cruise. Attend Dice Tower West in Las Vegas for gaming fun on the West Coast, or Dice Tower East in Orlando in sunny Florida. Dice Tower Conventions, the friendliest gaming conventions on Earth. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.